what I always talked about with my music in particular was turning up the volume on my authentic self. And so it would be like, I'm on stage, I'm being myself, my authentic self, but I'm just going to turn up the volume on that person.
Good morning, I'm Jenny Woon.
I'm Tony Singh.
And welcome to In the House Podcast. Welcome, Amanda Woodcook. How are you?
Woo, in the house.
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming
Nice to see
on. Is this the first time you met her was in February?
February 2nd.
Okay, so we met you February 2nd at Framework Retreats. You were entertaining us with your beautiful
It was gorgeous.
Voice.
Yes.
You have a 20-year career in the entertainment business. So we wanted to ask you questions about that and then how it has evolved to working with your husband. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you transitioned into the real estate business?
Sure. Actually, that opportunity to sing at Frameworks was sort of the perfect culmination of the two worlds of music and performance melding in with real estate, because Cheryl Funston, the founder of Frameworks, reached out to Amanda Wood about music, and then I got an email to Amanda Cook about potentially sponsoring as a real estate team. And I said, I'm the same person. And it was really an interesting moment where I thought both these things are now merging. So I've been in film and television, professional theater, and mainly singing jazz, adult, contemporary pop, my own music for many years. I have 7 albums. I've toured around the world. And it's been the greatest passion of my life outside of now my family. And what is now becoming a new passion for me is really exploring all of the avenues of real estate. And so at the beginning of 2020, I was about to embark on a global tour for a symphony show that I'd created. It's a celebration of the female British invasion from the 50s to today. And Jesse had just made the decision to join Engel & Volkers and to partner with Mike Ramph. And when COVID struck, my music career evaporated. Of course, we couldn't, cross borders, let alone leave our house. And so for the first time in over 20 years, I suddenly had no outlet for my creative passions. And I felt almost sort of grief-stricken in that. But at the same time, I had always been quietly helping Jesse behind the scenes. Because of my music industry experience, I'd had to learn how to build websites, how to do Instagram, social media marketing, how to create a brand, and all of those different things. And so I was able to parlay that for Jesse for many years quietly behind the scenes. And when COVID struck and my career evaporated and Jesse was embarking on this new partnership, an opportunity became available, and I stepped into the marketing director role, and I helped to create our team's website, most of our branding, and now I work full-time as the North Shore marketing director, which I'm thrilled about, and I work with Jesse on a daily basis.
Yay. I have to clear the air for a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because thanks for setting him up to come on our show. Thank you so much for that. We learned so much. But he said, you guys have been together for 20 years. He said that you begged him to go on a date. So we want to hear the real story. There's always two sides of the story.
Yeah, it's
3
like
sides.
me and my husband.
Yeah.
No.
What's the truth here?
Definitely the opposite, I remember when we had sort of first started to see each other, and then he asked me, he said, so you got all nervous and it's like shaky, and when do you officially become exclusive? Like, when do you ask the guy to be your boyfriend? And I was like, well, firstly, I don't ask.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have the courage to ask me. And then I see what, I decide. So 5-10 minutes of a lot of heavy nostril breathing, goes by, and then all of a sudden he says, Mandy, my nickname, Mandy, would you be my official girlfriend? And I was like,
cute.
I sweat it out for a minute or two, and then I said, of course. And we said I love you within 30 days. We had our families meet in a very short time period. It was just like we knew from the very first moment. We were just in.
How did you guys meet? Because he mentioned in his episode that you were in
I was
Singapore
in.
when he
Well,
was trapped.
I haven't sung in Singapore, but I maybe he said
Okay, I
Hong
think it
Kong,
was.
maybe Hong Kong
Yeah,
or
I
Beijing
think
or
it was.
Shanghai. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, maybe
yeah,
maybe it was Shanghai. Sorry, yeah.
um, our so we met through friends. I had come back from a trip from Europe, backpacking with a girlfriend, and when I got back, I needed a place to stay for 1 month in between moving in with my friend. And my really good guy friends had a 3-bedroom, and they were like, "You could stay here for 1 month." And I was like, "Sweet." It was the craziest month of my life, partying with these guys, downtown, doing the whole thing. And Jesse was the new roommate who moved in, and so it was really fun. And we met, but I was involved with somebody else at the time. He just was getting over a bad breakup. So it was almost a year until we actually connected romantically, but then it just clicked for both of us right away. It was amazing.
And now you guys run a real estate company together.
Yeah.
I heard, well, Mandy,
Yes.
Amanda, you carefully, articulately said to us, as a musician, you're Amanda Wood.
Right.
But in real estate, you're Amanda Wood Cook. Do you think that is why the distinction?
Yeah, so when we're doing some of our marketing, it's we didn't want to hide the fact that we were married. We thought that it was important in all things to be really upfront, very authentic about our relationship, how those lines are blurred, and the advantages to our clients for that. We're going to be discussing your property before we go to sleep and over breakfast with our children, so we might as well be upfront about it. All of my previous social media handles and things like that were all under Amanda Wood Music, and I didn't want to let that go because those links would never work again if we changed the name. But when we first started our real estate group, I wanted to help encourage followers through my channels because I had a large following, and I wanted people to know that this was my new path. And I was really pleased to see that people who've been following me through music also came on board to follow us through our real estate group. So I wanted to keep Wood, my maiden name, as sort of my stage name. And I also am a bit of a feminist, and I like keeping the name, I like that. And my brother's not going to have children, and I'm the last Wood of my family. So I'm curious to see what my girls go, if they decide to do a hyphenate down the road or what. But for now, legally, I'm Amanda Cook, and that's what we go by on most of our marketing for real estate. But I still have Wood, and so I generally feel like I am Amanda Wood Cook. That's who I feel that I am. Yeah.
Fair enough. Curious, working so closely with your husband and your family dynamics, what perks and challenges, if any, are there in working with your partner in crime?
Yeah, for sure. I grew up watching my parents. They're both entrepreneurs, and they created a business and built it up from one of the spare bedrooms in our home. And so I grew up seeing how it works, and that felt very natural to me. But for Jesse, it was very, very strange. He at first was hesitant. He wanted to keep the lines a little bit more defined. His father had been a teacher, his mother was a financial advisor, and when they came home to his knowledge, they never talked about work. It's like, how was your day? Good. How's your day? Great. Okay, back into family world. So for me, it wasn't a big deal. But the pros are probably also the cons. They're sort of reflective of each other. The pros are that we are able to discuss work at all times. And we love our work, and we love our clients, so it feels very natural. The cons are sometimes it's hard to turn it off, and so that's sure. Sort of the ebb and the flow of it. So I feel very grateful that I love what I do. I think if it wasn't, if we weren't so passionate about it, it would be very draining on our relationship, and instead it feels like it's another dynamic for us. My parents, who are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary coming up in December, mentioned to us recently that they think that working together got them through any of their hard times as a couple, because they had to keep the business going. And so if there was ever any strife or any difficulty, they had to be able to sort of compartmentalize that and get through it to keep the family unit together through the work. So it's sort of like this multi-layered foundation, which I think for us has created an even stronger foundation and a new respect. Jesse's learning more and more about the different creative avenues that I've been exploring. He didn't realize the depth of my passion for film and for sort of that creative avenue. And he's just been so complimentary recently with the projects that I've been creating. And I have this newfound respect because I have an insider view into what keeps him late at the office now. So it's created a deeper level of respect between us.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so great.
Beautiful. Okay, so going to your skills and experience. Okay, I kind of creeped on your LinkedIn. David Foster said you have a sultry and unique voice.
Yes, Jen.
And so as you know, videos are so important in our business now. It wasn't as much prior to like COVID, but I understand that you have come up with a lot of nice lifestyle videos now. So your perspective and your experience on drawing like an emotional storytelling type of video, how has that worked really well? Because you kind of did that in the entertainment business, and then you've obviously applied this to the videos that you're now putting out there.
Yeah. I went to university on a full ride acting scholarship, and so before I was full-time singing, I was full-time acting, and I really believe that we are inundated visually these days. There's just so much coming at us. And so how do we sort of break through? And in my opinion, it's by creating an emotional connection and something that's visually slightly different, maybe an elevated style of film. It's been hard for me to accept that it has to be so short. That's been something for me that I would like to see a larger arc, more time. But really, when I look at the analytics of our social media and our YouTube channels, 60 to 90 seconds is it, if even that. So I've just been able to partner the knowledge of what is trending now, what's being rewarded through the algorithms, with my natural sort of desire to go a little deeper into the property. And it's an interesting thing, because I don't want to pigeonhole our potential buyers. I don't want to say it must be a young family or it must be this. But I also want people to be able to feel the property. And I think that that's the sort of the special zhuzh, the magic fairy dust that gets sprinkled onto these projects, and what we're getting a lot of positive feedback for. And our clients are really loving it too, because for them it's this forever memento as well of their property.
So, sorry, I just wanted to clarify something. Are you saying that for the videos that you're creating for your clients when listing their property, those are 60 to 90 seconds max right now? Or is that for something else?
No, we actually create 3 different platforms of video content. One is a 60 to 90 second video for Instagram, 60 seconds specifically for YouTube Shorts. Both platforms are chasing down TikTok, so everything must be shot vertically in a 16:9 frame. We are playing the game. We're in it to win it. So we want to be ahead of the curve with those algorithms. We still film a landscape horizontal 2 to 3 minute property video that does not have actors in it. That's just a beautiful feature simply about the property. Then for our more exclusive properties, Engel and Volkers, our brokerage, offers something called the EV Exclusive. They have their own YouTube channel with a very high subscribership. And Nina Margiotelli or Stephen Kovic are the 2 hosts. And it's like an HGTV TV show. They come in and they actually do a hosted segment about the property. And they can be anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. Those are shared on the YouTube channel, also on our YouTube channel. All of our links are, it's all sort of this sort of symbiotic relationship where everything is being shared. And that's been really interesting, because recently we had a property, a beautiful $10 million property, and Nina did such an excellent job giving so much detail. Because so much detail was shared, we had buyers fly from Los Angeles up to view the property, because they felt that there wasn't any risk involved. They felt that they knew the property and were so serious about it, they came up to see it because of the amount of detail. And that was almost a 30-minute video. So, and we provide running script details. We go for we preview the property with the hosts. We go, it's a lot of detail, and we film it all quite beautifully. But those are our sort of 3 main things. And the 60 to 90 seconds are often sort of how we propel and launch the property. And then our hope is that we've gained enough of their interest that they click here, and then now they want to see even more, and they click here. And of course, the eventual goal always being an actual showing appointment.
I actually have a 3-part question.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Because, and I'm just making a note here so I don't forget part of it. My first question, just in regards to everything that you've shared in regards to how much detail and thought and energy goes into all of these beautiful marketing materials for video. So I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. My first question in regards to that was, what would your corporate branding marketing budget look like? And what would the marketing budget then also be for each property that you're marketing? And then I have a third parter, but those two first.
Yeah. It's been an interesting transition for us. Coming on as an official marketing director was the first time that we actually set aside a real budget. Up until then, it had been a little bit guerrilla style, kind of going with the flow of opportunities. We've been invited to be in this local magazine. Ooh, okay, let's do it. Oh, we haven't gotten any calls. Okay, we'll stop it. Let's try this. The North Shore News. Let's try a Google Ads campaign. So at first, before we moved over to Engel and Volkers, it was a little bit, guerrilla warfare. It was kind of like just sort of like reactive. Then as I came on in a formal capacity, we thought, what do we really want to do and what's the research showing specific to our neighborhood? And that's such a key thing for people to remember, is that a lot of times when maybe you're being approached by a marketing company or somebody who could provide online leads and things like that, you need to find out what they're doing specifically for your area that you're farming. So once we decided upon that in 2021, we really went for it, and we probably spent over $75,000 on marketing that year, and that was our first really big year. A lot of sweat equity, so that's not including my fee, like my actual salary, but that would be like actual dollars spent, and we saw a direct reflection of that coming up. A big part of it is, how do you follow up with the leads? You can get great leads, but if you're not really communicating and on top of it, and that's one of Jesse's strengths. So I'm out there farming, he's harvesting. I'm out there farming, he's harvesting. So we were working together with that. And then for our specific listings each, we feel that it's really important, and one of our core values is to treat all of our clients the same. And I spoke about this a little bit of frameworks, but for example, on our website, everybody gets equal time and attention on our homepage and in our featured listings page. So everything is done chronologically. And I had to basically fight to get that adjusted on our website. And that was really tricky. And they said, oh, no, you want to show off your most expensive listings. I said, no, I want to show off whoever's the newest person, because everybody should get equal time and attention. But having said that, our more high-end listings do require more budget, because we need to look often for an international audience. So again, our Engel and Volkers Edge program has a very wide net that it casts from everything from the New York Times to the Wall Street Journal to Zhuhai in China. But then we do our own marketing as well with a large international capacity. And again, some of these more higher end magazines and things like that. So, we're looking anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 per property.
Thank you for answering that. That clarifies things, and especially for our listeners, that would be really interesting for them to hear about. The third part of this question was specifically maybe when you're dealing with, I don't want to use the term onboarding, but let's say you guys are taking an exclusive luxury listing and you're providing these services to the clients to help them get their home the greatest exposure. What kind of lead time does that look like? Because I would imagine, as we said, there's a lot of planning. You have to plan schedules, all of those kinds of things, get the right people in. How long is the lead time to bringing a property like that to market?
Yeah, it's a really great question. So I would love all the time in the world, but I also think that whatever time we're given, we fill. So if I'm given a month, it'll take us a month. If I'm given 2 weeks, it'll take us 2 weeks. Right. I also find that creative types like myself are often have a lot of ideas, and when we're given hard deadlines, it forces us to cut through to the best ideas. And so I would say usually we need a minimum of 2 weeks. And part of that is based on weather. Living here on the rainy west coast of Canada, we are really at the mercy of the weather. And if a property is, for example, if they've got a multi-million-dollar view, literally that view is worth millions of dollars. If that property was somewhere else, it would be X dollars, but now it's here and it's another $2 million tag on. We have to make sure we're going to get a fantastic sunset shot. So that might mean that we're going to push up to a month, or it means that we have to reshoot because we shot and it was okay, but next Thursday it's going to be beautiful, and we didn't know that in advance. So that's on us, and we're going to pay again. So that's part of it for sure. But I will share with you, just recently we were under the gun with a wonderful client of ours, and it was a challenge, but we actually rose to the occasion in the sense that we had to launch a property in less than 5 days, and we had to come up with a plan because the weather was changing and they wanted to do an open house. And so MLS upload closes at 4 p.m. on Friday. And I think we were able to get everything listed at 3:52. So it was like full sweat, But we got it on. We launched with the 90-second Instagram reel. We launched with photos. Then we had other more detailed photos that were being edited coming through over the weekend. We did the open houses, and we did it. We took what could be seen as a negative or a challenge, and instead we reshifted it so that the perspective was this sort of we didn't have any runway. So instead of being a jet going off, we thought of ourselves as a helicopter. And with every layer of height that we came up, we added more and more and more to the view, so that as they saw it, we were continuing to lay it out. So I know this industry is tricky because you have to be client focused. You have to be client first. And they wanted to launch, and it was our job to make it happen, and we did, which was great. And the weather has now turned 2 weeks later, and we're really grateful that we had all that sort of past week and a half, if you will, of great footage of the house. Even the behind the scenes, for our social channels has been excellent.
Nice. What are some of the techniques? So, okay, actually, I'm going to ask this question first before I forget, about Agents Opens, because I know it's such a popular thing to do or to host on the North Shore, and we just don't do that in the Lower Mainland. Sometimes, but I don't think we get the same crowd, the traffic.
True.
So
it's a scene. It's a scene.
Right? And I've seen what they do at Selling Sunset. But what tips do you have to kind of bring that same energy and vibe if we were to host something similar in, say, East Vancouver or in Vancouver?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the things that we've done, which I think could translate to almost any market or neighborhood, are I always create a specific image that is used for our social media, but then I also get Jesse to send it out by text to his sort of private inner circle of his favorite realtors in the area, people who he knows do a lot of work in those neighborhoods. And so it's a personal invitation, not just an online invitation. And then we also always provide, some food, some drink. We always have music playing. We usually bring on any other junior agents that we can, so that we have people positioned throughout the house, anticipating that we'll be busy, so that there's always someone there to answer questions. We also do special neighborhood deep dives, and so we'll have information pamphlets on the schools, and we'll actually sometimes they'll even make a large whiteboard that has the actual walking and driving distances to everything from there. It's sort of they're the epicenter and what's around you, so that it's sort of a quick study, so that if they come in, they can literally go back and share with their client, this is the place. We need to make a listing appointment or a showing appointment immediately. It's going to go quickly. We want to create that sense of buzz and energy. We also are very generous in our reshares on social media. So we always encourage people want me to take a picture? Can you take a picture? Make sure to tag us. There's a certain amount of clout and currency with that, so it's I was there, I was seen, I've been recognized, and we're resharing you. So we notice that, and we try to keep that as part of our sort of vibe, is that we're very generous at that. We don't care if all of a sudden we've got 30 stories one day. It's we're busy, we're happening. Thanks for coming, we see you. So those are some of the things that we do. But I think one of the most important things is to reach out to the agents who you think have credible clients for the property, and personally invite them to come.
Okay. And so those junior agents that are are positioned in different parts of the home, what benefits do they get out of it if it's an agent's open?
Meeting other agents. We're coming out of COVID. A lot of these people are starting and have no experience. So they get the opportunity to meet some of these people that they've only seen in print or have only ever kind of heard about. They get the chance to practice their sales pitch for the home in case they ever are handling an open house or showing appointment. I think it's a good sign to impress, the senior agent on the home, so to show Jesse that they're here and willing to give of their time, and then that sort of reciprocal relationship will be met when maybe we find somebody who's unrepresented, we can give them to them. All of those things, it's like generosity just begets generosity, let's help each other. So I think any type of actual in-person experience for any type of junior agent is really beneficial. And you never know who's going to come, because we do advertise the agents opens on our website as open house. So sometimes we do have just regular buyers coming in as well.
For sure.
I'm just curious, it's kind of an extension of what we had just talked about, but related to what you're the tips you're sharing right now. It speaks directly to our current market, though, because when we had Jesse on, he did say that, it's a little bit slower. We're experiencing the same thing, too, and it depends on the area, what type of home. But I'm curious how this relates to the marketing plans and budgets. So, for example, my question is, how do you balance the marketing budget in a downward market? So, for example, if you're having to spend $5,000 to $15,000 marketing a luxury property, and they're just not moving right now, I would imagine that it's something that you guys are covering up front, and that can add up very quickly. How do you counteract that? Just curious, is it a motivation thing with the sellers, or what would you speak to for that question?
Yeah, our thing is always, in a market exactly like now, we want to make sure that our clients know that we're doing everything in our power to move their property. But if things outside of our control are preventing that, what we want to do is make sure that they're still pleased and that they recognize that it's not our service. And perhaps if we take the house off the market, that there is an understanding and a confidence still in us that when they relist, it will still be with us.
Got it.
It's always easy to be the second guy in, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to come in, lower the price and promise the world, and then often sell it because things have now shifted and you're most likely at a slightly lower price. So the harder thing is to keep, your clients happy, and for them to understand that although it feels so deeply personal, and we're giving such personal experiences through this, that the outside factors that aren't personal to you. Yeah. It's not that your house isn't selling, it's that hardly any houses are selling, and that we're doing everything in our power. We just recently stopped a print ad in a local magazine. That was sort of a decision based on kind of what's happening. So we decided to sort of save a little bit there. We weren't getting any phone calls. We sort of reflected on what was happening. I think something that's important in marketing is to ask the question, is this sort of three things? Is this getting me like a direct return on investment? Am I getting phone calls and they're saying, I saw you in so-and-so magazine and I wanted to call you, or when you ask.
Right.
Secondly, there's this thing which I've coined is visibility equals credibility. So maybe somebody says, I would recommend Jesse Dean Cook. Have you heard of him? And they go, yeah, I think I know that guy. They can't place it exactly where they know you from, but they recognize the name. They don't realize they've been seeing you for the last year and a half in the back of this magazine.
Right.
They've subconsciously noticed your sign, but it triggers to them and they go, yeah, I'll give him a chance if you recommend him. It's like that extra level of credibility. But then sort of the third thing is, when do you have to address, is this my ego? Am I putting money into this because it feels good to see my face on the back of a bus? Is my ego in charge of this decision, or is this the best decision for my business? And sometimes in real estate, it's a joint decision. But if times are tough, you have to really make the sometimes the harder decision to pull back. And that might feel almost, maybe you're dealing with questions of like, do I feel embarrassed that my bus ad's getting pulled or something like that? But is it better to reinvest into something that you're actually going to get clients from? So those are sort of three things that I would consider when making decisions about how and when to spend the money.
Great advice.
That's
Thank
just
you,
smart
Amanda.
business sense is all. If you can let your ego go.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda, and so with your stage presence, what are some tips that you can offer to the agents who are just super afraid to be on camera?
Oh, yeah. It is. It's tricky, isn't it? You know, it's not a natural thing for most people. What I always talked about with my music in particular was turning up the volume on my authentic self. And so it would be like, you know, I'm on stage, I'm being myself, my authentic self, but I'm just going to turn up the volume on that person. And you know, we talk about, for example, Beyonce and her stage name of Sasha Fierce. You know,
Yeah.
she can sort of hide behind that persona. But I think in real estate, it will always serve your best interest to just be your authentic self. And if you are shy, maybe own that a little bit, but maybe take some lessons, work with a coach, practice in the mirror, you know, whatever it takes. It is a new day and age, and you do have to try your best. But again, being your authentic self, talking about the things that matter to you, showing yourself, and you know, being comfortable in your clothing and the way that you're coming across, will always serve you your best interests. Always, just by continuing to be who you are.
Thank you.
Such good tips. No, they are. They are. You're an amazing woman. Can you share with us a little bit about how you prepare yourself when walking on a stage in front of people, public speaking? Is there something specific that you do?
Well, I still get nervous every time, and that seems to shock people. It just shocks people, and I think, are you kidding? I'm like, you know, I get the shaky hands.
Really?
And the
You
whole
can't tell.
Oh, I do. I get nervous every time. But I remember this famous quote from Barbara Streisand, who I really admire. And she said, when you stop being nervous, you should quit.
Oh,
What?
True.
And what she was saying was, when you stop being nervous, what it really is translating to is you don't care anymore. So if you still have the same integrity, you want to have a great show, you want to give your best, there is a sense of nerves. And it's also, I think, symbolic of a bit of humility and humbleness, and the fact that you're still thinking, I could maybe mess up a little bit. I could, you know, no, even if I've put in my 10,000 hours to become an expert, there's still always that possibility. So, you know, having some nerves, I would say, just represents that you care. But I think a really important thing is to rechannel the words, the power of your words, and to say, instead of saying, I'm so nervous, you can say, I'm so excited to do a great job. Instead of, I'm so nervous to screw up. I'm so excited to share what I have to do, you know, with my audience or with, you know, whomever. But taking the time to actually realize that it can be scary, but it's for the best.
how would you phrase or position your words to make sure that there's an impact to the listeners on social media?
I think that there's no shame in being very prepared. Make your notes.
Okay.
Test it out on somebody. Have the time and the thought process behind it so that it's a very thoughtful message. I also appreciate, for example, some of the things that are happening internationally right now, and the fact that we can, you know, programs like Instagram will have translation services. I made sure that our website can be translated into any language, things like that, so that there's no stumbling blocks for getting your message across. I do think that, again, sort of back to sort of what's happening right now with the rhythm of things, keeping things a bit shorter is better. So your captions should be sort of like, I don't want to say bait click or clickbait, but like they should be like attention getting. And then once you go in, you can give more information, or again, a link to bio, etc. But you should be staying sort of quite focused on what it is that you want to say.
Okay.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, these are so good. Okay. Translation. That's something that no one really thinks about.
Yeah, that's pretty big. It makes sense too, given your marketplace with international buyers and that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
How important is personal branding when it comes to real estate marketing?
So important. Personal branding is really the heart of everything that we're talking about, and what we really want to focus on is core values, because the core values can become the compass for how you direct your professional and personal life. And if you're very clear on what your core values are, it can help you to make decisions in your personal life, about, perhaps what, direction you're going. Does the person that you're dating or thinking about marrying, are they connected with your core values? And those same core values should be leading you towards your professional decisions. Is this the right type of marketing? Does this feel correct for me? Does this feel authentic to me? Does this connect with my core values? And with every single different area, both professionally and personally, your core values should be at the forefront of your decision making, and they should be used as a tool to make sure that you're staying in line with who you are. And so your branding should reflect that. Does this image connect with my core values? Does this wording speak to who I am? Is this coming from my voice or somebody else's? So trying to stay connected in that, and again, reflecting. If that is a good reflection of your core values, then you can easily say yes and just keep moving forward with speed.
And so how would you recommend an agent go about identifying their personal brand? Like, is there a self-discovery that they need to be asking?
Yeah, I think, again, taking the time to go through it. Something that I've recommended in the past is creating a mission statement and a complementary core values. The core values can also be sort of the three main points of your core value chart, and then from there, I've used the phrase before, sort of the smaller rivers that are coming in to support on the outside. So, going through, figuring out what those things are, being very clear about it, using that wording consistently so that it empowers your decisions. And then that's going to help to, again, like with the compass thing, it's going to be able to help you, but you must take the time. And again, getting a personal coach, somebody who could, help you go through that. Working with a professional is always, money well spent. Talking with the people who know you best. I think it's actually very revealing to ask your closest friends and family for a few words that you think describe you. How would you best describe me? And then you're going to start to see some consistency, and often it's actually a very rewarding exercise as well. But those things, again, I believe the personal and the professional should be completely intermixed.
And I want to thank you so much for sharing that triangle at the Framework Retreats event that we just had this month about, you said you spent about $75,000 rebranding your business. Can you share with us, like you shared with us at the retreat, kind of the three core values that you had on that? I was sitting in the back, so I couldn't really see with my bad vision. But yeah, with your business.
Yeah, so honesty, integrity, competence, exclusivity, these are some of the core values that we both as Engel and Volkers represent, and then also for our personal. We probably wrote out over 100 keywords that we felt could work for our core values as a team. We did a whole bunch of exercises with the whiteboard, and we sat down and talked it all through. And at the same time, we were coming up with our mission statement. And because we were completely, endeavoring onto this new partnership between Jesse's group and Mike Ramp's group and creating something brand new, we were also creating our company name, which ended up being the Next Door Real Estate Group, meaning that we're here to facilitate the next steps in your life. And what was most important for us was honesty, integrity, and excellence. And so we circle back on that all the time, just all the time. In our team meetings, we talk about it, and we strive to see that reflected in the different marketing avenues. But it's very important to be clear on who you are, so that you know how to get there. Wherever you're going, it should be part of your path.
What are your marketing goals for 2023 and in the long term too?
Marketing goals for sure are our marketing goals for 2023 are to continue on the path that we're on. We want to continue to establish ourselves as one of the go-to teams for luxury listings in West Vancouver. Our team specifically deals from Deep Cove to Lions Bay. We are North Shore specialists. So we are expanding our team potentially here on the North Shore and looking for good quality people who, as we like to say, speak the same language. And so part of that is, we're We're very picky about who comes onto the team because we want it to be a win-win for everybody, and that's part of it. And so being able to have the bandwidth to be able to help more clients. So again, bigger and better is always something that we're looking for. We want to continue to serve all price points, but we are definitely having a period of expansion within the luxury market right now, and we hope to continue with that.
Fantastic. How does your team build client loyalty?
First and foremost, by doing a great job. Focus on the job at hand. Do a great job. Wow them. Get the job done. And then from there, a big part of what we do is we, give referral gifts. We give great closing gifts. They're very personalized. We always, we have a great CRM, and we make sure to document when people's birthdays are. One of the things that I love the most is we give a bouquet of flowers on the 1-year anniversary of their possession date of them moving in, just to say, it's a great touch point. Can you believe it's been a year? How is everything going? Are you still loving the neighborhood, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? All of those kind of personal things. And another thing that we have found to be very valuable is just connecting with our friends and family and clients just for a coffee. Let's just get together and have a catch up, and then it's just interesting if you're top of mind after those moments in an authentic way. You're not getting together with them to ask them for anything, but you actually do have a chance to catch up personally. So often we'll get a phone call within the week saying, hey, it was so great to see you, and by the way, I ended up going to family dinner, and my Auntie Rose is going to be selling her house, and I recommended you, and she's going to be calling you tomorrow. And it's like, whoopee! So kind of getting out there and just taking care of people and treating them the way that you would want to be treated.
For sure.
We don't sell people into houses that we wouldn't be able to. We don't sell people into houses that we wouldn't sell ourselves. We don't, get people into any type of situation that we wouldn't recommend for ourselves or our family and friends. So it's very personal for us.
What you're doing right now, is it exactly what you expected, like a marketing director would do?
I guess I kind of just crafted it to be what fit for my life. I probably thought of, just the term director in particular, maybe sitting a little bit more formally in an office and maybe bossing around the minions. Take these photos, do that video, kind of thing. But what has come out of it is actually a deeply personal experience, because I'm intermixing our personal lives, running around at times doing things for, pickups and drop-offs for our kids. The flexibility of the job has allowed me to be able to be present for some of those activities for our children. But I love the fact that I'm really hands-on. I'm the one overseeing the shoots. I'm directing the films. I'm the one going through all the details of the feature sheets and the write-ups. Like, I'm in charge of all of it, and I love that I'm actually not stuck at a desk. That to me is really a true bonus of the whole situation. Coming from touring around the world, being on stage, being more of a night owl, not a daytime person, and now transitioning to this sort of more formal daytime role. And all of that has actually been a real blessing. I realized that at this time, there are so many people that had to give up, what their dream jobs would have been. They had to take on a different type of position that wasn't in any way passion for them. How lucky am I to get to work with my husband and to get to do something that's deeply rooted in creativity. I love it, and I get to actually help people. In my life, my friends and family kind of joke that I'm a bit of like a counselor for them, and I'm the one that, if there's a problem, you call Amanda, call Mandy, and she'll help you figure it out. And that's what I get to do for people all day long. I just all day long get to help people and be involved in these big moments in their lives. So it feels so personal to me, so creative. So I don't know what I would have envisioned before this time, but I'm glad that I've been able to sculpt it and create it and mold it into what best suits me and allows me to do the job to my utmost ability. And that flexibility has created
and
that
still be there
opportunity
for
me.
your
So I'm very
two
grateful.
girls.
It's important.
Yeah, it's like the best of both worlds. I'm not saying it's easy. It's really not easy. I feel tired a lot. Like I'm exhausted. I know that most people who are at the top of their fields are really pushing themselves. It's sort of something that came up through the frameworks retreat, is that oftentimes the pursuit of balance is almost a fruitless sort of exhaustive hunt. So it's more about prioritizing the moments that you have. And so again, I'm not here trying to spout any type of false information about it being easy. The path to success is often difficult. but I'm just so grateful that I enjoy the journey of going on it. You know.
Well, we always want to end off with 5 rapid fire questions. It's already been like almost an hour.
This is you're so engaging.
I know.
Went by quick.
And we forgot to ask our very first question, so we're gonna add it to this 5.
Sure.
What is your spirit animal?
Ooh. Oh gosh. It's funny. My friends sometimes call me Amanda Panda because I'm really cuddly, and but it's a bear, and if it needed to, I could really go for it.
So panda.
Yeah,
Okay. What is your most
black and white? There you go.
Yeah, I know. It's perfect. It's perfect. What is your most memorable concert or festival that you've played in?
Oh, that I've played in. Ooh. You know, I have to say, I had such a fantastic time just recently this summer at the shipyards here on the North Shore. Mm-hmm. That was a fantastic opportunity. We had just 1,000 or 2,000 people just going for it. There's a hard cutoff because there's residential towers mm-hmm. around. And, you know, we could see them saying like, cut the music. And the whole crowd's going, one more song. Oh, it just reminded me of those bigger shows. So that was great. And it felt really good to be in my backyard. And we had tons of friends and family come out. So that was a recent show, and that was great.
Follow-up questions. Are you a songwriter as well?
Yes. So the album that I did with Michael Bublé and David Foster's help down at Capitol Studios in LA, that features quite a few of my original songs. I went down to Nashville to write with some really top writers down there. I enjoy collaboratively writing. I'm not sitting at home pensively writing on my own. I'm like, hey, want to write together? I've got some experiences I want to share. I'm very extroverted in that. Mm-hmm. But I haven't written in the last few years. Honestly, I've been feeling quite removed from it all, and all of my time and attention has been going into real estate. So I haven't written in a while. But I know that season will come again.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry to put you on the spot. So we had another agent who's in a band and sang a tiny bit for us. Just wondering if you would be willing to do that too.
What do you want to hear?
Oh my, anything. Yes. I don't even know.
Yes, whatever you want to sing is what we want to hear right now.
One verse, like.
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. And finally, I can see you crystal clear. So go ahead and sell me out, and I'll lay your ship bare.
Woo! Nice. Oh, that's impressive. That gave me goosebumps.
It was so good.
My gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we have to end it at that. I don't know if I want to ask more questions. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we need to end it there.
Really?
Aww.
Wait.
I mean,
I know. These are all, if you can, okay, let's ask this one.
Okay, go ahead.
If you can perform with anyone on stage, who would that be?
Okay, can I give you a couple?
Yep.
Okay, so somebody who's not around, but I would have loved to, was Nat King Cole. I would have just given anything to have performed with him. He first came to fame through his piano playing and through his trio. And then, of course, I think he has literally one of the most beautiful voices of all time. Yeah. So to sing with him would have been like a dream. I love Adele so much, and I harmonize with her when I sing at home. I always take the high part, and I think, and we would just have such a laugh. I also think it would be really great to sing with Michael Bublé because, he's been instrumental in my career. We sing a lot of the same style of music. We're both from the BC and all of that. Oh gosh, I would just give anything to sing with Sting. I know he did a tour with Annie Lennox, and it was so amazing. And Annie's voice and mine are a little bit the same. Oh, so many.
Oh my gosh.
All of them. I'll take them all.
And with that, we're just going to end it at that. Yep. Amanda Wood Cook, you've been so awesome. Aww. Where can our listeners find you as a musician and with real estate?
Yeah, so my handle for music is Amanda Wood Music. So I have my own YouTube channel. My Instagram is definitely a blend. My Instagram is representative of all the parts of me. So it's music, it's family, and it's real estate. For our real estate needs, you can find us at North Shore Next Door Group and www.thenextdoor.ca. And that's the same for Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, website, blah, blah, blah. I'm everywhere. You can find me. Just type in my name.
Amanda, you're an inspiration.
Oh,
thank
yes.
you
Thank
for coming
you
on
so
today.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. And really, thank you both for providing this platform for so many people in our industry to speak their truth and to, share their knowledge and to be so generous in what you do. It inspires others to give. And I think you're doing something really special. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.